Today I want to talk a little bit about boots. It's not something you wear on your foot, but something that goes on your house, on your shingled house, to protect where penetrations come through your roof. Let me jump into it. All right, Chicago, I'm Jim from Anchor Point Roofing. Welcome back to another edition of our YouTube channel. We're an honest roofing company in Chicago that specializes in flat roof and steep slope repairs. Today I want to talk about boots, not the boots that you wear on your feet, but what we call a boot on the roof, when you need it, why it's important, and why they're even up there. So I want to break it down for you. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about plumbing and why there are penetrations coming through your pitched roof. I want to show you this first picture to kind of give you a base here. This one is plumbing, and you'll see the penetrations coming through the roof are called waste stacks. And you know that, like when you're running a sink, the wastewater comes out the bottom, but then also up through the roof is a vent stack, and that basically allows things not to get vapor locked, and the sewer exhaust and smell and gas will go out of there, out of the top. So you need wastewater to run out, but also a vent through the roof. And obviously these vents need to be protected and waterproofed around. So you're gonna have a PVC plumbing pipe like this, for instance. So this one's a 2-inch. You're not gonna see a lot of 2-inch coming out. A lot of times they're 3-inch, 4-inch, and this is where it vents through the roof. Your plumbing would be down below. So if you're seeing a new construction or a new house, you'll see the PVC coming through. In Chicago, we see a lot of cast iron, but now a lot of things are starting to convert to PVC. So what we've got to do when we put shingles on that roof is protect around that boot. Let me show you a boot, how we install it. So we've got a picture here of an old one. You can see this first picture is really ugly. This was an installation we came up on. It was leaking really bad, not installed right. So here's how we go through changing the boot out. You've got an old neoprene boot on it. You see the next slide is where we've replaced the plywood. We've fixed it because it had rotting plywood or rotting substrate. But again, you can see the PVC pipe coming through. Here's the third picture of it where we've put ice and water shield around it. Actually, this is a bitumen base sheet, which is even heavier duty. Sometimes my guys really kill it. Overkill it maybe a little. Then we put some solar seal, which is a heavy duty sealant around it. And then finally we install what's called a lead boot around it. Now you've seen those 5 pictures in order there. When you see it, do you think that thing is gonna leak? Absolutely not. That thing is done right to perfection. This is how we do it. We're so proud of our repairs. Even just a simple waste stack or a boot. There's a few different kind of boots. There's 3 or 4, but I'm gonna go over 3 of the main ones today. Ones that we really use more. There's called a 2-piece boot, which has a little bit of a different application that we don't use that much, but sometimes you have to. Let's quickly go through the boots. Let me show you what's happening. These first ones we have, these are called lead boots. So you can see it's at an angle. This one's probably a 45 degree. You can see this one is a 4-inch boot. So this is gonna be wrapped over a 4-inch waste stack. It's gonna go down onto the roof. The guys are gonna cut this off to whatever size and they're gonna fold it over down in. That's what we saw in the 5 pictures where Jesus installed one of these lead boots. They're gonna last forever. Lead lasts a long, long time. So this is a 4-inch. Here we've got a 5-inch, which is obviously a little bigger. This is for like cast iron that we see in Chicago old school. So on older houses, they have a lot of 5-inch waste stacks coming through. One weird thing we do see a lot is lead. I took an EPA class like 8 years ago, and basically what I've heard is lead is sweet. I've never tasted it. I don't recommend anyone else try or taste it, but sometimes we'll see squirrels actually chew the top of this. And when it does, it compromises it and they leak. That's the only thing I've ever seen beat up or compromise a lead boot is a squirrel chewing on it. And I guess maybe the squirrel thinks it's sweet as well. I'm not for sure. Another boot that we use sometimes, we try not to use these too often. These are a little cheaper. You can get these Menards, Home Depot, ABC. These are metal and this is neoprene. The reason we kind of try to avoid the neoprene is the UV rays in the sun will eat this up. I've got a couple of them here. This one is all neoprene completely. This one's got a metal flange on it. You can see if you look close here where you can take different sizes of this off. So the 2-inch that I was showing earlier would actually fit in here. You just cut it out. 3-inch, a 4-inch would actually fit in there too. So just another way to protect it is a boot. One of the last things, let me show you this picture here and why we would need what we call a 2-piece boot. This picture right here is called a Weatherhead. And I know we don't all have them on the roof. A lot of times now they're connected to the side of the building and the Weatherhead doesn't actually come through the roof. But there's also times when you'll have an HVAC, like a high efficiency furnace come through that has like PVC that curls over, like a candy cane we call it. So you need what's called a 2-piece boot. Now let me show you what this does. So this 2-piece boot, this will come apart here. You can cut this, take it apart, and this opens up. Then you take this and you slide it around the PVC or Weatherhead or whatever that would be coming, and then it's got like a zipper. So you can see these little pieces here. It zips it and ties it back together. Sometimes, like let's say an HVAC, a high efficiency furnace, you have that white PVC coming up through the roof and then it curls over. We call it a candy cane. It looks like a big white candy cane. And it's hard to get, if you can imagine, trying to get one of these lead boots over it and get it done right and wiggle it on there. It just doesn't work. So that's when we convert and we go to the 2-piece boot. That's what this product is. They're not used too often, but sometimes we do have to use the boots. So that's really it. This is a short and sweet video, but when you go to your roof, the boots, the penetrations are kind of the main things that we have to waterproof. Of course, you have to go around skylights or other kind of like vents for like your stove. If you're cooking, we'll use what's called a Brown vent. But these boots are used almost on every home. Mainly it's for waste stacks, your plumbing coming up out of the roof. That's it, Chicago. I just wanted to show you that installation process. When you see that installation that we did there, that Jesus did on a boot, as a homeowner, even not knowing anything about it, as you see that sequence, you know it's done right. You know that thing is not going to leak. And this is the kind of transparency that we provide on our quotes. When you get done, we send you the invoice, you have a link, and you see exactly what's been done. I love this kind of transparency. You can see with the photos that we provided, our guys obviously love it too. They love to kind of show off their work, have maybe even a little bit of an ego about how good it looks when it's done. But as a homeowner and from a homeowner's point of view, you know that that thing has been repaired correctly. So that's it for boots. Again, not a boot that you wear on your shoe, but it's a boot on your house to protect you and keep you warm and dry. Thank you so much for watching, Chicago. Whether you're a homeowner looking for roof repairs or a contractor looking for the best materials, Anchor Point Roofing is where it's at. Tune in for the next one, and thank you so much for watching.